So on this program called Broadway that comes on after Weekend Inside Edition, I don't watch the program called Broadway. I just was zoning out, exhausted. In fact, I think I dozed off. I dozed off at some point over there on the couch. Long day, but we'll get to that in a moment. The guy on there was being interviewed. You know, he's a Broadway star. He was telling the female interviewer how his new obsession, like his latest obsession, is social media, and he loves to just turn on his camera and start talking about whatever. Okay? And that's what I've been doing for more than 15 years. And never run out of things to talk about. I wish, you know, if you were me, I mean, I wish I would run out. I wish I could, that mean everything wasn't such chaos. I never run out of things to talk about, ever. I just never do. Never run out of things to talk about. Probably a lot of my desire to do this stems from growing up in such pure fucking dysfunction and abuse of every kind, and just everything, like, and not being able to talk about it because that ability wasn't there. Was not going to be there for a kid, but even so, it wasn't there back then. It wasn't there even when I was in college. It wasn't there. You know what I mean? It wasn't there for anybody for a long, long time. And our ancestors didn't have it. So, I just wrote to Joe, and I'm like, I turn the heat up a little bit. It's too cold to like be down wearing. See how different they look? It says on here, Adopt a Pet's Gold Edition, so maybe this is a new thing that Face Shorts is coming out with. I just didn't even know. I'm like, this doesn't look like a tiger. This looks like a tiger. This doesn't look anything like a tiger. I mean, this wasn't on FAO Schwartz's site, but was on Target. How do I know it's not a counterfeit? It doesn't look like a tiger. It's not on FAO Schwartz's site. And I already have the original tiger, and why come up with another tiger? You know, these are all rhetorical questions. They're never going to tell me, but they did get back to me and let me know it's not on their site yet, or maybe whatever. But it's not a counterfeit. This is all I really wanted to know. Anyhow, experts say even petting a stuffed animal can provide comfort. It's not real, but the animal's not real, but I read that. I don't know. See, I never run out of things to say. It's not going to happen. Um, they're releasing things in their gold edition, but the new, maybe they're going to remake a lot of their animals and make them gold. I don't know. It's all fucked. Who cares? So I wrote to Joe, emailed him, like, you always tell me, I can't remember exactly what I said. I ad-libbing, okay. But this is what he says to me, like, I've told you guys, like, he says, well, it makes you feel good to file complaints, but it doesn't change anything. It really doesn't do anything. Well, most of the time that's true. This time it's not true, because I, the hospital big one of them, not big wig, the hospital president or something, whatever. One of the hospital bigwigs who was supposed to call me back after I filed a complaint against that doctor and case manager. Remember, the doctor put my mom's life in danger. This is all just, we don't know what happened. Even the big was like, it's hard for me to go back and figure out what happened. But you are right. They didn't remove the fluid restriction. Yeah, and the doctor didn't discuss the fluid restriction with me, or I could have drilled home the fact, like, why are you doing this to my mom? 32 ounces in a 24-hour period is very little, and if you're going to do that, it should be an emergency. And also, you know what I mean? I would have drilled home about it, that she needs enough fluid to eat or she will choke. Anyhow, the horror that I found, the whole point, I want nothing to do, understandably, with that doctor or case manager again after the way they treated me. They treated me indisputably like fucking shit. They bullied me, and look what happened. I begged, I pleaded, I groveled, just I can't get there tonight. Please wait and send my mom tomorrow. No. And then look what ended up happening. I find my mom, horror, dying of thirst. Can't even talk. She's so fucking thirsty. And then she can't even beg for water. And then I get to where it is. Where are you? What's going on? Are you all right? Mama, please say something to me. Please, I'm begging you. Oh my God. And they were ignoring that, because to them, they got to follow doctor's orders. If this new person to us is on a fluid restriction, it's got to be important, right? Meanwhile, again, I'll drill this home. I know that I'm a broken record, but it had been a day and a half since I had been told the doctor had lifted it. It didn't get lifted. A problem with their system, medical, whatever, medical error. That's, whatever. It did not get lifted, and it put my mom's life in danger. But on top of that, the way they treated me, I wouldn't want anything to do with either of them ever again. So my complaint did this time around matter. It did matter in a, not just in an abstract where there's going to be disciplinary action or blah blah blah, but probably, who knows. The fact is, it mattered not in the abstract. It mattered literally, because when I filed that complaint, I didn't know they were going to find my mom the next day barely breathing, and then we were going to have it all over again. So I had to say up front, since my mother's moved from the ICU, I want nothing to do with that doctor and case manager. I said it when that guy called me a few days ago. And it's, if my mom survives, if she survives, I want nothing to, that doctor and that case manager, I want nothing to do with them. They're not to go near my mom. And he goes, no, of course, Laura, of course. And then I have to worry, because that's a verbal promise, a verbal assurance. and then it's like that my mom is sent over to another part of the hospital, and how do I know that it's the doctor's not the weekend doctor on call or something, and I'm gonna have something to do with that doctor, or not the case manager yet. I don't know what qualifies why you don't need to be in the ICU anymore. That's a good thing. I don't know how fast they're going to want to try to get her out of the hospital and into rehab. We're just having a going around in circles here. See, and I come across as crazy because my mother just happens she's gonna be moved there, and I'm like there, and then I'm like, and I have to call over, she's not even there yet, and I'm like, she's being sent over here, blah blah blah, whatever, from ICU, blah blah blah. I want who's gonna be your doctor. I'm not gonna sit there and get assurance by the bigwig after I file a major complaint. Again, I filed a complaint over what I saw on when, like, the fluid restriction and being treated like shit and bullied and ganged up on by the case manager and the doctor. When meanwhile the doctor kept telling me that for 2 whole days the case manager was gonna call me. So if it didn't matter for 2 days, why can't you just give me a night? I'm not even asking for a full day, just overnight. You can send her early in the morning. At least I can get there, and she will only be there a little while instead of there at night and all the, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It's all just fucked. It's all broken. It's all evil. It's all fucked. It's all whatever. It's just whatever. I'm not here anymore. Just on autopilot. Wondered how I could have even survived any of this. And the answer is I didn't. I'm not even here anymore. Sad fact of the matter is, my mom is not capable of keeping herself safe. She's not even safe. Provably, I've given you examples, more than one, in the friggin' nursing home. She's not even safe. Okay, she has this obsession. She doesn't. She's always been like that, though. She gets embarrassed, and she doesn't want to. The humiliation of soiling herself. My God, you just broke your hip. You're in the ICU. You just got taken off a ventilator, and you're saying, I gotta get up, or I need to go to the bathroom, or whatever. You have a catheter, just go to the bathroom. But you don't go poo-poo in a catheter, I guess. I guess you get up and get, you know what I mean? But you just have to, my mother doesn't want to accept that she's old. She's not just not a young girl anymore. I'm not a young girl anymore. My mother's old and doesn't want to accept it. And I indisputably did everything in my fucking power to try to make her life better. To try, you know what I mean? She didn't want to accept it. But it's her mind, it's her mental illness, it's whatever. And it's fucking sad. Everything's sad. So many sad things. One of the saddest, sickest things to me, every once in a while you hear about someone totally innocent who um, calls the police to because of something bad going on in their house, like an intruder or this, that, or whatever, and then the homeowner's the one who gets killed. You call for help and that's just sick. It's just horrifying. Anyhow, something specific that just happened, but I heard, I don't know. I can't keep up with all this crap. And I will tell you about that whole thing with my mom because it's to her detriment. It's deadly for her. Okay, but that's how she's always been. She gets very, very embarrassed. You know, like even if she farts, it's the end of the world, and everybody farts, mom. You know, it's just that's how she is. It's okay to be like that. Not when you can't be, not when you just, if you're going to put your life in danger over it. She's old and doesn't want to accept it. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. It's heartbreaking to me, of course. She can't be home unless she has a 24-hour nurse, which, of course, only the rich people can afford that. She has to be in a nursing home, or she can't, we look how we tried. Anyone whose illness, whose mind causes them, even though it's happened to them numerous times, they just didn't get hurt. No, even recently, like I said, God won't let anything happen to me. God won't let me fall. God won't let me choke. So, what were you thinking when you were falling and then you realized that you'd actually broken something, Mom, because you were in such pain? What were you thinking then? Should have listened to Laura. She told me to take a nap. She told me to go to bed instead of staying up all night and then staying up all day on 2.5 hours sleep and not even relaxing, still fiddling around with stuff and standing here balancing, holding on to her wheelchair. Because remember, I had to take the walker away. She had just announced that she didn't want to use the wheelchair anymore, and then she was using both, and that was making life worse for both of us. She wasn't capable of going back and forth. She wasn't capable of doing it. She needed to just have one, choose one. All just came down to denial. She didn't want to accept her situation. So she pretended that it wasn't the case, and it was ended up being deadly for her. She didn't die, but every time this is happening, she's getting more and more frail. You get it? It's getting worse and worse for her. And the truth of the matter is, she's not safe in any fucking nursing home ever. Just isn't. People can at least in the nursing home get around by themselves, you know. But bedridden people, they're the worst off. Worst off. Don't believe me? Read horror stories online, because I have. Alright, we got 10 minutes. So every once in a while, I tell you, I've actually said this before. I don't make a habit out of saying it, but every once in a while, I tell you that, this is one of my more profound things to say. You know, this is something, one of the most profound things I've said. And it is the truth. Life is a but chapter, but it's defective. It's generated in the past. What about your future? It's defective. You can shove it up your ass. I want my money back. Life is a lemon. Life is a lemon. Nothing's all I ever get. All right. Anyway, most profound. One of the most profound things I've said, or what I'm about to say. I know I'm right. Relationships are hard enough as it is. Relationships are nearly impossible. Most people do not last. Okay? Relationships are hard enough. People, these decent people, not like Donald, okay? Decent people don't want a basket case, okay? I'm even more, a million times more of a basket case now than I was 2 decades ago when, when Donald got his clutches in me, but he wasn't a decent person. I'm saying decent. Relationships are hard enough as it is. Decent people don't want a basket case. Okay? That's just reality. That's just how it is, okay? So, that's why I say I just need to count my losses and hopefully at least get to jail. My best friend. It would never be anything more than platonic. It would not, ever. That ship has long sailed. But he's not even close to being a basket case. Now, he didn't have his shit together when we met over 2 decades ago. Okay? But, I mean, right now he's really got his shit together, see? So back then, I wasn't even as close to being the basket case that I am now. So we were more evened out, you know what I mean? But the fact is, Joe's not even remotely a basket case, but he's resigned himself. He doesn't even care, really. He's going to be alone for the rest of his life because it's just not important to him. He got burned by his wife. He got burned by me, and that I turned down his marriage proposal, and then a little under 20 years ago, I think, in 2005 or something like that, he fell in love with some woman and got and ended up burned by her. So not really by her. She had, I guess, kids that didn't like. I don't know. Whatever it was, it didn't last a long time. But he's not even bothered since then. He doesn't care, and that's it. And he finds fulfillment in other things, and that's it. Life's hard enough as it is. Relationships are nearly impossible. Okay? Nobody wants a basket case. And I am, without question, that. I mean, like I said, to such a point that I'm just, I am continuously hanging on by a thread. I, I, it's a miracle that I'm even still here. Okay. I cry over anything. I'm just, it's just too much. It's just too much. It's too much. Okay. It is too much. I shouldn't even still be fucking breathing. Okay. Even one of my enemies came back and, he's like, "You're still alive?" Like, "Yeah, barely. I'm sure that thrills you to death. Your shock mirrors my own." Okay. You're shocked I'm still alive, so the fuck am I. So the fuck am I. Count my losses. Hopefully get to Joe's. I wanted to be with my mother. Not holding my breath on that one. Nothing left in me. Nothing to give. See? I can't, I just have to accept it. I'm not even here anymore anyway, so what's the difference? Joe knows. He's periodically said it. It's like, it doesn't matter what X, Y, and Z aren't happening now. The trauma you experienced is ingrained into your mind, even with, even just recently. Like, you can't, you're gonna leave early and strand me where I have to walk home almost 10 miles. It's just because it didn't happen, it doesn't matter. The fact that it nearly happened and all the fucking shit that did happen over these past whatever is just, you don't get over it. You understand? It's just in there and in there and in there. So that's the most profound thing I could say. Relationships are hard enough. Life is hard enough. Nobody wants a basket case. And I know that, and I've accepted that, and that's just how it is. It's just how it is. Okay? That's why I use the word count my losses. Someone like me, if you're even going to stay alive at all, you got to count your losses and just realize you're going to be alone. There's nothing that can be done. Okay? There's nothing. And Joe's alone and doesn't care. So, and obviously I'm talking, romantically, sexually, whatever. Put up a good fight. I gave it my all and it wasn't enough. And I'm just a basket case now. And that's the way it goes. That is the way it goes. I'm just waiting for the next blow to fall. I don't even have any faith at all that that I'm even going to be able to do get out of here, sell this place and get to Joe's. And I'm seeing this thing out with my mom. I'm hoping that she can go with me. I still, but